There is a massive fly in here, so that's great. Okay, it flew away and I don't know where it went, so if you guys do hear a massive like fly buzzing around, sorry. But anyways, welcome back to my channel. Today we have another movie review. I swear a book one is coming soon. This video is probably a bit late, but I only went to see the film the other day, so oh well. As you guys can tell by the thumbnail, I am going to be giving the verdict on Disney's new live action Little Mermaid. In my other videos I've been trying to give like a little non-spoilery section, but it's the Little Mermaid, so I feel like I don't really need to for that. So I assume everyone knows what it's about, and if not, it's about a mermaid. But if you don't know, I will be going over the entire plot of the film, so don't worry. So yeah, I will be giving my thoughts on the plot and then the characters, the songs, and also my like overall thoughts on the film itself. So yeah, get comfortable and probably grab a snack because I tend to ramble on for ages. So let's get into the film. So we begin the film with a bunch of sailors on like the ship out at sea, including Prince Eric, who we immediately love because he is trying to stop the sailors like spearing what they think is a mermaid, but actually turns out to be a dolphin. So thank God for him. Then one of the sailors tells Eric that it is the coral moon, and this is when the king of the sea meets his daughters every year, and to like beware. I swear this is this same guy from Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides who was like also creeping folk out by telling them all these stories about like mermaids like eating the flesh off your bones. But in his case, the mermaids were cannibals, so probably a good idea to listen to him. And that would have been a dark plot twist if that's what happened in this movie. But thank God it doesn't, so we're good. So somehow a telescope gets like knocked off of his ship and like falls into the ocean, and we like follow it like down underwater. I feel like the underwater scenes were so like believable and full of color, which was like stunning visuals, so I really enjoyed that. But also having seen Avatar: The Way of Water, like there's just like no capturing beneath the ocean quite like how James Cameron managed in that movie, because that is like crazy. But they're underwater still like immersed you into the world, and it was so colorful and nice, so that was very enjoyable. Then we are introduced to King Triton, who's played by Javier Bardem. I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if I'm like butchering that, but yes, Javier Bardem, who was also an angry sea person in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, so maybe they're just hiring the entire cast of Pirates of the Caribbean 4. Who knows? And actually, like the sailor was telling Prince Eric, he is actually meeting his daughters on the coral moon, and they are all there except, you guessed it, Ariel. Remember that telescope I was just like telling you about before? Well, she obviously finds it. She is out with Flounder in the ocean somewhere, and I have to say I wasn't really a fan of Flounder when I saw his like original movie poster like put out. Like I thought he would have been like a really bright colorful fish, but obviously he's just like silver and has like a little bit of yellow, so I wasn't too sure on his character design, but he is so cute and adorable. So good job to the actor there, although his character does look like he's gotten lip filler, so that was interesting. So Ariel is looking through this telescope and sees like a ton of shipwrecks like in the distance. Of course, she goes into one looking for human things because she is obsessed. So we're looking around, and bam, gigantic shark. I literally jumped out my seat and crapped myself because I am terrified of sharks. So that was terrifying because this one looked real. Ugh. See, like I always think I want to be a mermaid, but then when you see stuff like that, it's like, I don't know about that. But anyways, they escape the shark, thank gosh, by getting it like stuck in the ship somehow. So whew, they're gone, escaped. So they're like heading up towards the surface, but not the surface because she's not allowed to go there. So they're just like, surface is here, they're like down here. And this is where we're introduced to Scuttle for the first time. She is diving underwater. Obviously, Scuttle was a seagull in the original Little Mermaid, but here she is a northern gannet. And Scuttle was also like a funny old man in the original one, but obviously here she is played by Awkwafina, who I love. And I feel like there was an opportunity to show that seagulls aren't like flying rats, as people like to say, but personally, like, I like them, so yeah. But I understand the reason they did this was so that Ariel would only meet Scuttle underwater because she's not been to the surface yet, so that does make sense. So Ariel shows her a fork and Scuttle can like somehow talk underwater, which I feel is like a bit of a stretch, but okay. And well, if you've seen the original, everyone knows this scene. Scuttle tells her it's a dingle hopper, which humans use to brush their hair, like this. Wow. Just look at that texture. Fabulous. They get busted by Sebastian, who King Triton ordered to go and like find her. So they then go to her dad's cave slash throne room where Flounder lets it slip that they got chased by a shark. Bad Flounder. After that, we then go to her secret lair where she keeps all of like her human things. She literally has like 100 or like 1,000. So she cannot be going around saying she's not obsessed with humans, because take a look at your little like obsessive cave. Bit creepy, but kind of cool. And then we get the iconic song Part of Your World. It's obviously hard to hear someone else singing like such an iconic song because you're used to like the notes in like a specific way, but obviously each artist is going to have like their own spin on it, so where you expect the notes to be, they're all like different. But in my opinion, Hallie, that's how you say it, is an amazing singer, so I personally think she did a really good job on it. So well done her. Although there were a few bits where she's singing parts of the song like strolling along down a, what's that word again? Street. Or the other bit where it's like, I don't actually know the words. We're gonna have to find out. Right, let's see if we get some lyrics over here. Where are the lyrics? Hello. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, and also like, what's a fire and why does it? What's the word burn? Like, kind of it's like that where like she is supposed to be like genuinely confused about like what the word is and trying to remember it, but it was just like, oh yeah, this is like just part of the song, so it wasn't really like, oh my gosh, what is actually the word, you know what I mean? So yeah, but apart from that, she did an amazing job. And after she finishes, she sees an explosion coming from the surface. So she obviously decides to go up to the surface for the first time to see what it is. So Eric's ship is having a celebration and like letting off fireworks. And we see her like listening to him complain about his duties and the weight of like expectation, which she obviously relates to as a princess. And then somehow there's like a storm rolls in and they like crash into this like big rock. Eric helps the crew. Oh my goodness, my cat. But anyways, Eric helps the crew of the ship and they're all safe, but he's still on the boat and the boat is on fire, but he doesn't want to leave because Max, his dog, is still stuck on the boat. So he obviously doesn't leave without him because he is a legend. And I liked his character before, but after this, I loved his character. Like, if you wouldn't try save your dog, then you deserve to go down with that ship. Just saying. So he throws Max overboard, but then like gets knocked back by like the mast into the ocean, unconscious. And of course, Ariel rescues him and like drags him to shore. And then his people like find him. And he was like kind of waking up by this point. So he's all like, ugh. And then she like is singing some siren song. You like, ah, that thing, which that's all he can like hear. So he's like, whoa, what's going on? And then his people find him, taken away. Bleh. And then she is singing this reprise of Part of Your World, which obviously is really good. Singing is amazing. But I had to mention this bit because I was literally dying in the cinema. Like, me and my friend were howling. So she's obviously like hiding behind this rock watching Eric's people like take him back up to the palace. And then she's like singing Part of Your World and she is creeping. Like that. Like she is literally crawling up this rock like something out of a horror movie. Hilarious. Ariel and her sisters are then cleaning up the wreckage from the shipwreck underwater, and they're complaining about the damage done to like the coral in the ocean from the shipwreck, which like fair enough, obviously. Ariel says it's like not their fault that they crashed and they're not all bad, and then her like father turns up and is all like angry, and I think it's here where we find out that he hates humans so much because they're responsible for her mother's death. We never really find out what exactly happened to her, but we know that the humans are responsible for her death or killing her. So yeah, obviously totally understandable why the sisters and why King Triton like hate them. Like I would too, so totally understand where he's coming from. Then we cut back to Eric. I can't remember exactly where this scene is, but like it's somewhere around here. But like no one is believing him about this girl who saved him. So he kind of has like a grungy boy band Kristoff moment where he has a solo. Honestly, I think men should be given more solos because the amount of actors who can like sing so well, especially in Disney films, like obviously Kristoff did not get a song in the first one, and Jonathan Groff has an amazing voice, so he should really be allowed to sing more. But yes, I love Eric's solo. I personally think it is the best song out of the entire film. He's like singing about Ariel finding him in like wild uncharted waters, which is the name of the song if you didn't know. I have literally been singing it ever since I came home. Wild uncharted waters, come find me. 10 out of 10. Amazing singer. So King Triton calls like Sebastian into his like throne cave because he thinks Ariel is acting like weird because he thinks she has like a boyfriend or something. And Sebastian, who saw Ariel save Eric, thinks the king knows, so he's like, ah! So he just like blabs everything and it's like, oh, I told her to stay away from humans and etc, etc. But anyway, he's an idiot. So yeah, he like totally busts Ariel. The king is then so raging that he goes to Ariel's secret cave, which Sebastian must have also told him about, well, a snake or crab, and destroys all of her human things. I don't know why he thought this would like work at all. Idiot. This is when Ursula appears in like this bubble, but like it's a mirror, so like a bubble mirror thing, and she's like, I can help you. And Ursula is played by Melissa McCarthy, so it was very interesting to see her play someone evil since usually like in a comedic role. So yeah, that was very interesting. I will speak more on her character at the end, but anyways, Ariel then follows her like creepy eel things to her cave, where she then exchanges her voice for a potion that will turn her into a human for 3 days, and she must kiss Prince Eric before sunset on the 3rd day, otherwise she will like belong to Ursula. However, Ursula makes her forget that she has to do this, so ooh, bad octopus. So yeah, Ariel has legs now. She gets like caught in this fishing net thing and gets taken to the palace, and they think she is the girl Eric is looking for, but since she can't speak, she obviously can't be the one who saved him. But like, even though she doesn't have a voice, she still manages to sing a song in her mind. It was very weird that her mouth like wasn't moving, but she was having like a proper like ballad like this. Yeah, so that was happening. But that was a tune. That was an original song from this film. So Eric's song and this song were new, and I really like them. So yeah, even though it was weird that she wasn't moving her mouth, still a tune. So after that, Eric catches her looking at his collection of things, mostly from the ocean. So there's a clear parallel between his collection and her collection. And he has this like massive fossil, which he like hands to her, and then she grabs it and it's just like, smash. And he's like, no, what the hell? But inside was this like massive red jewel. So he's like, oh my gosh, whoa. And then they have a very cute rest of the night with him like telling her about all of the places on all these maps he's got. So yeah, very sweet. Then the next day they go on a ride throughout the Caribbean where this film is set, and Shane's like acting like Vin Diesel but with like a horse and a carriage, like flying around the place, almost like chucking Eric off a cliff, which you'd think like, be more careful with your man. And then at the market she tries to like use a fork to like brush her hair, so she gets a lot of weird looks for that one. And then her and Eric have this cute little dance moment, so that was very sweet as well. And then later on they're like riding back to the palace, and Scuttle steals Eric's hat, because her, Sebastian, and Flounder have a plan to get them to kiss since Ariel can't remember. They go out on this rowboat in this cute little lake, and then Eric like guesses her name because he's like speaking about constellations, and then is like, oh, I wish I knew your name. And then she gets him to point at Aries, and then she like bloops his lip at like the last second, so he's like Aries. And yeah, he gets Ariel from that, so yay. And then Scuttle's like, ooh, we need some like ambient music, so she's like, and it's like screeching, and Sebastian starts his famous song, Kiss the Girl. So yeah, that was a funny scene because like all three of them were like on the oar, like when Eric was rowing, so they would just like pop back up again, like woo, and be like singing. So yeah, that was funny. And then the evil eel things just like knocked over the boat just when they were about to kiss, like, oh, cheating. And then they like creep back into the castle after that, and Eric tells Grimsby, who is like his, I don't know, like the palace advisor or something, I don't know, but he's like with Eric all the time. He's a legend. Eric tells him that he likes Ariel, or like something along those lines, but cute. And then like later on, Eric is like out on the beach alone, and he like hears Ariel's voice, but instead of it being Ariel, there's this like evil looking girl in like a purple dress who we don't like. And then the next day, Scuttle comes in like all excited, and then we get the worst, cringiest song in the entire film. Scuttle Butt. Oh, even the name of it is just horrific. I don't know who thought that song was a good idea, but no. No. Just no. Anyways, she tells Ariel that Eric is planning to propose to some girl that no one knows, so obviously they think it's her. So she like goes running down to like the throne room bit, and then she sees Eric introducing the girl in the purple dress as the girl who saved him and that they're going to marry. So Ariel obviously hears this, is upset, and she like runs away. And when his mother and Grimsby ask if he's like sure about this, he's like, huh? Is all confused and clearly has no idea what's going on. And then Ariel is all sad later on when Scuttle comes up to her and tells her that the girl is Ursula in disguise because plot twist. And she has Ariel's voice in a locket. So Ariel busts into the engagement party, which is at the castle, and I thought it was on like a boat in the original film, but I don't know if they changed it or if that's just me making it up. Then Scuttle is like attacking Ursula, and Ariel like comes and like tackles her, and they like have like a girl fight, and Ariel like rips off the necklace, and her voice like literally floats in like a big ball of light like down her throat, and everyone is like, eh? No, everyone is not meowing like this one. Cat hair everywhere. Woo. So yeah, she gets her voice back, and everyone somehow gets over this like very quickly from like seeing some floating light like go down her throat, and then she magically has a voice again. Like, hello, be more surprised. And then Eric and Ariel are away to kiss, but too late. She turns back into a mermaid in front of everyone, and then Ursula like yeets them both off the cliff. Underwater, she then holds Ariel captive, and she's like electrocuting her with those eels in front of King Triton. So he obviously trades his Triton to save Ariel's life, and then Ursula kills him with his own trident. I was like, did he just die? I was so confused, but yeah, he died. So Eric then dies underwater to help Ariel, and like during this time Ursula like makes herself gigantic. She must be like the size of like the Empire State Building, and she like creates this whirlpool, again, Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's like a way to kill Eric, but all these shipwrecks are like floating about in the whirlpool, and then Ariel like directs one so that the like jabby bit and stabs her, and then she dies. So when Ursula drops the trident, she like has to choose between Eric and the trident, and then she follows the trident down underwater, and then she picks it up, and then her dad like magically like comes back to life, and she's like telling him, oh, like Eric helped, blah blah blah, and her dad is like, you are where you belong now, as in like underwater. So he just did not understand anything from that whole experience. And I guess she feels so bad that he's just like died for her that she just like agrees and like decides to stay underwater and like never said goodbye to Eric. So Eric made it back to land. So he's on land and Ariel is underwater and they're both like unhappy. And then Sebastian has this like deep chat with King Triton, and King Triton's all like, oh, I've done everything in my power so like that she'll be happy. And Sebastian's like, yeah, but you haven't really, have you? So he ends up turning Ariel human so that she can be with Eric. So then they get married and then they are away to explore the world. But as they're away to leave shore, King Triton pops up and then they have a cute little moment where he like wishes her well and everything. And then at the end of the film, we have all the mer people and the humans like waving bye to Ariel and Eric. So yeah, very cute end to the film. Now, in terms of how the film was made, I thought they did an amazing job considering like half the movie is spent underwater. Like all of the mermaids' tails look like so good. Even Ariel's, and I know people were like annoyed that her tail wasn't green, but like the way they did her tail, like it was gorgeous. So I wasn't that mad about it. So yeah, the tails were gorgeous and I thought the actors did like an amazing job considering they obviously don't have tails and don't breathe underwater. So I thought they did a good job of acting as if they had tails and they were mermaids. It was actually very believable. And obviously since they were underwater, their like hair had to behave as if it was underwater. In my opinion, it did look like their hair was underwater. It was all like, woo. But then it also looked like their hair was like a separate character. Like it was so waving about all the time. Like it looked like someone had just put their hair on and it was like, woo, moving around. So yeah, it was like a separate character and it was like kind of distracting because like anytime King Triton was on screen, his hair was like just floating about and it was like all I could stare at. It was like hypnotic. He was just like, ooh. But yeah, other than that, all of the underwater scenes were incredible and I really enjoyed them. Although there was a scene where Sebastian was singing under the sea and it was like a nice and colourful sequence, but like also some of the scenes she's like tumbling through jellyfish and like sitting on turtles, and it kind of reminded me of like the really bright and fake looking scenes out of the new Mary Poppins. There's like loads of scenes like that and it's like really in your face and really looks fake. So that kind of reminded me of that and I was not a fan of that. And then on the land, I really enjoyed it being set in the Caribbean. The like place was beautiful and so was the scenery. However, when she was at the market and like when she originally arrived like on shore with the fishermen, it did look very staged. I have found this with like the live actions, like when they go places, it just looks like it's set up. Like obviously it's set up, but like it looks fake. Like it doesn't look lived in. It looks all this just, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's the angles, but it just looks very fake and like clean. They need to go back to how it was like in Pirates of the Caribbean because whoa, all of that looked like so believable, not fake at all. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. Think they need to work on that. And I thought Eric's backstory was really interesting. I don't think it was the same as the original, but here he was like found adrift at sea when he was younger and like adopted by the king and queen. So it makes you understand his character more because he wasn't really born into all of having all the duties and all of this stuff. So he was like having this pressure like put on him because he got adopted by the king and queen. So that was interesting. And then you can see his mother. I don't know what happened to his father, if he like passed away, but he wasn't in the movie, so I'm not sure what happened there. But his mother obviously cares for him like he is her own son and their relationship was really sweet. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I do also think it would have been good to hear a bit more about how Ariel's mum had been killed by the humans, as I feel like that would have helped us sympathize with King Triton's character a bit more. Like he is literally just a dad trying to protect his daughter from like the same people who took away his wife. Although it was very interesting to see the like different perspectives. Like after a tragedy, obviously King Triton is very angry and full of hatred, and like some of her sisters are, well, basically the same. And then there's Ariel, who's like more accepting and understands that yes, some humans did do this, but that they obviously are all not the same, just like all merman people are not the same. But yeah, the movie was colorful with good songs, and great CGI, which really helped you get into the world, so yeah. But let's move on to the characters. So Sebastian is quite different from the original film. Obviously they are different actors, so the way he speaks is different, and the actor is younger, which obviously makes Sebastian younger. I did enjoy that he wasn't really such a stern old man as he was in the first one, and I loved his character design. I thought he was so cute, and he did have a few funny scenes, so overall I enjoyed his character, but it is hard not to compare him to the original Sebastian and the songs that he sung, because they are just so iconic. And then, as I said, Scuttle is hilarious, but her character was just done so dirty by them making her sing that awful Scuttlebutt song.
Hey, have you not heard that Scuttlebutt? Yeah, that Scuttlebutt.
No. So yeah, she had a really good character, minus that horrific incident that we won't speak about, but I do feel like they were kind of pushing on the comedic angle, but like Awkwafina is hilarious enough already, like you don't need to push it. So I feel like they should have like reined that in a little bit, but other than that, love her character. The CGI on her character specifically was like so good. Loved it. And I enjoyed Flounder's character as well. He is adorable, but he obviously wasn't really in the film that much, especially when she was on land. You literally didn't see him at all, because obviously he like is in the sea. And like even when they were in the water, I felt like they didn't have as close a relationship as Ariel and Ariel and Flounder in the original movie. Yeah, I felt like they were friends, but not like, oh, BFFs. Like, you know what I mean? Did he even say goodbye to her when she was like leaving, getting married? I don't think so. So yeah, honestly, it seemed like Sebastian and Ariel were closer friends than Flounder and Ariel, which was interesting. And then we have Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, which I know she didn't think she would get the role because she thought that it would go to like a musician, but honestly she did a really good job of singing Poor Unfortunate Souls, and I was very surprised because, like, by the way she was saying that she didn't think she would get the role, I just assumed that she couldn't really sing very well, but she can. So she did a very good job on that, so to her. I do think she was very good as Ursula, but then I also feel like she was a very theatrical villain. Like you kind of felt like you were at a panto, but she obviously had to try extra hard because everyone associates her with being funny, and then she has to be like this really evil villainous character. So yeah, hats off to her. She did a very good job, and even though I do think it was theatrical, I feel like Ursula's character is very like flamboyant, so I understood it in those scenes, but like at the end I feel like she could have been a bit more evil. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Next we have Eric, who I'm obsessed with. Yes, Eric's character is so noble, because even at the start of the movie he was like working alongside his crew, like he didn't have a special like status or anything. He wasn't like lording over the crew and like directing them like, you do this. He was hauling the masts, hauling the sails, or whatever you call it. And then obviously he put their lives before himself. He got everyone off the ship. He got Max off the ship. And then at the end, he was not prejudicial against mermaids at all. Like even at the start, actually, he wasn't, like even if it was a mermaid that they were trying to shoot with that spear, he would have still told them to stop. So enjoyed that. And then even at the end when Ariel was revealed to be a mermaid, he literally just barely batted an eyelid and didn't care at all. Still was gonna kiss her. So yeah, and also the actor has an amazing voice, so I am hoping to hear more from him in the future. But obviously, like, you do think he's a bit of a snake when he like drops Ariel for that like purple dress Vanessa girl who is like Ursula. But then obviously he's like under a spell, so like we know it's not his fault. Ooh, and then also when he saw Ariel for the first time and he thought that she was gonna be the girl, and then he was like so disappointed. But then he was like, you can stay here if you need a place to stay. So he was also good. And then lastly, we have Ariel. I know there's been a lot of controversy over her character looking different than in the original Little Mermaid, with some people who have pale skin and like red/ginger hair saying that they were disappointed because they no longer felt represented, because like maybe in the past they've been like bullied for having ginger hair, so it was nice to have a main character who like embodies that. And then on the other side of that, we had others saying that having Ariel as a person of color made them feel represented. So I can obviously understand both sides, and each side obviously has merit, but I will say I don't agree with the people who were giving the actress abuse for being cast. Like, I'm sure any one of us, no matter what we looked like, would have loved to be given the opportunity to play Ariel in a live action movie, even if we look different from her original character. So yeah, but whatever your opinion might be, I would recommend watching the film and determining if she is a good Ariel based on her performance, and like not immediately discredit her because she doesn't look like the original Little Mermaid. And yes, we are all used to the original Ariel, but I personally feel like Halle Bailey did an amazing job as Ariel. She is a great singer, and I feel like she played the character very well. So yeah, I would say to watch the movie before necessarily judging it, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, let's get into the verdict. So overall, I thought the film was good. It actually exceeded my expectations, and I am excited to watch it again, actually. The characters were very engaging, despite some cringy moments, and I really enjoyed all of the songs, apart from that one. I assume they put that in for like younger children to find funny or like enjoy a song, but honestly, there was like funny moments out with that. Like, it was unnecessary. And I know they were trying to show humans as not all bad, but I feel like they could have included more of a message about how humans wreck the ocean by like overfishing and like dumping bad things into the ocean, which affects creatures that live there. So I feel like they could have touched on that a bit more. I know they did a little bit with the shipwreck, but I feel like they could have included more of a message in there. And then I do also feel like the end scene could have been scarier. It felt a little bit rushed, actually, and I do feel that like Eric and Ariel could have had a little bit more of a scene like working together. Like, it was kind of like boom, last scene done in like 2 minutes, instead of like, whoa, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Like, I didn't really feel like really concerned about any of them, to be honest. But yeah, apart from that, it was good. So in terms of verdict, I will give it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other shows, books, movies you would like me to speak about, then comment down below. But for now, that's me, and I need to go eat lots of food now because I am starving. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye!